If you happen to be watching this right now, then you're a sexy motherfucker because True Review is back here with another top 10 list, you hear? So, another True Review zone. Ever played a game and gone, hey, this was actually pretty good? But then you go online to see what everyone else thought of it, and all you can see on your screen is society as we know it collapsing at the mere mention of that game's title? Well, here are 10 games that I thought were pretty good, but a lot of you out there seem to hate them. Just to be clear, these are games that appeal to me personally, which might have received positive reviews, but were generally received very negatively by the community. You might like them too, because we all have opinions, and I'm all about showing you the same respect that you're probably not going to show me. Let the dislikes roll. Why do I do this? Anyway, hit it. Remember Me! Remember Me is a game that, ironically, we all forgot about pretty darn quickly, and you can be forgiven for that, because it could have been sweet, but instead of capitalising on an awesome setting and premise, it just kind of bumbles about for a bit and doesn't do much else. However, despite all of that, I thought that this game was still interesting enough to play, and ended up respecting it for what it was. Neo Paris, or whatever the f*** it's called, is an interesting setting, and the memory hacking mechanic was something that I don't think any other game has tried before. It managed to present, quite well in my opinion, a gimmick that didn't feel gimmicky, and included a decent combat system that's reminiscent of God Hand. All in all, I thought it was alright, and certainly didn't hate it. Yet I'm getting the impression from reading the user comments online that I may be alone in that thought. Oh, I mean, yeah, that game was really shit. DMC Devil May Cry. This is a game that I wish everyone would just shut the f*** up about. In fact, this video was very nearly going to be a list on games that I think everyone should shut the f*** up about, and DMC was certainly going to be on it. Look, I agree, Devil May Cry 1 was great. It hasn't aged too well, but it's still a great and frustrating game to play, but still great. 2 was shit, if I'm going to be honest. 3 had its moments, and 4 had some okay moments. Then the reboot came out and I played that before reading any of the reviews, and I thought it was fine. Still didn't hold a candle anywhere near to the first game, but no hate from my end. A pretty solid game, the story was, well, not great, but when has it ever been? The new Dante was alright, and the combat and platforming was what I'd expect from it. As reboots go, then it's no Casino Royale, but I certainly didn't think it was crap. But a lot of people did, and I'm going to have to chalk that one up to butthurt. Many people felt that this game wasn't taking itself seriously, which blows my mind when in one of the early game's openings, Dante shoots up his own gaff whilst eating pizza. Nothing else needs to be said there. Heavy Rain! David Cage should stop trying to turn games into movies. There, I said it! And I wholeheartedly believe that he should stop it. I don't want to see the next game get advertised, and then at the end of it, it says, Climax 2, A Bridge to Hope, coming soon on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 at a cinema near you. Because I can see that happening. Incidentally, that title I gave you will probably be the first installment, despite having number 2 in the title, knowing David Cage. But Heavy Rain was alright! What's wrong with you all? Just because it's a Cage game doesn't automatically make it shit. Awkward sex scenes makes a game shit, and whoops, walked right on into that one. Whatever, the awkward sex scene put aside, I found Heavy Rain to be a very engaging and interesting experience. You have to hack your finger off in one part. I mean, come on! This game knows how to create tension and suspense. It knows how to deliver a coherent plot. Beyond Two Souls fluffed that one up. Go give that game shit instead.
Lane Goodman.
Gone Home. Dislike, 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 stop, stop! Just hear me out, will you? I seriously can't believe that this one got so much hate. I also can't believe it was widely regarded as one of the best games ever when it came out. Alright, don't flatter yourself. You're not that hot. You're fit, sure, but you're no Kate Beckinsale. Gone Home has been described as a walking simulator, and there is some truth to that, because all you do is wander around looking for more clues that reveals more of the plot. However, I felt that the plot told a powerful story. I was taken in by the sudden disappearance of your sister, and her warning you not to go looking for answers. It immediately sets the player spiralling off down a path of dark thoughts, and each note you find only adds fuel to the fire. It's also incredibly atmospheric, despite not having to do much to set you off. It's not a long game, I finished it quite quickly, but it was a game that after completing, I sat back and thought, yeah, that was pretty good. I was happy with that. And then I looked online and Jesus Christ, the musical. So many people accusing this of being SJW just because the main character, who you never get to see, is a girl and because your sister may or may not be a lesbian. Now, I know that this may come as a shock to some of you, but some people in this world are female, and some of them are lesbians. Why is it when anyone in a video game shows up as either gay, black or female, it's instantly being SJW? Perhaps them being gay or black or female is integral to the plot? You wouldn't make a film on the Emancipation Proclamation and have all of the slaves as white English-speaking gentlemen, now would you? Having a female protagonist view the events before her through her own eyes is such a social statement. Oh, fuck off, get a life and stop moaning about stuff that isn't a big deal. Incidentally, why not watch some of my rant videos? Aliens vs Predator. The 2010 game was kind of viewed by many as meh, but I thought it was much better than that. Granted, AVP2 was far superior, except for the AI, which despite being so dumb and one-track minded, as in, the second they see you, they fucking charge at you with everything they've got, this actually managed to add to the scares. But I felt that, despite the 2010 game not being as good, it was still really entertaining. Playing as both Alien and Predator was so much fun. I had such a blast going around, hunting down humans like they suck at life as a predator, and then going around and eating everything before me as an alien before crawling up the walls and back into the air vents. Also, it had Lance Henriksen playing as one of the characters, which alone should be a reason to play this one. Most saw this game as another game in the Alien series that just didn't live up to its own hype, but I thought it was fun all the same. Singularity! Now, I love games that focus on time paradoxes and time travel. And I also love playing as the Soviet Union. Seriously, I never played as the Allies in Red Alert, I was always the Soviet Union. But Singularity did something that I felt was a really welcome surprise. When first starting this game, you get the impression there's going to be another Medal of Honor warfighter, but in the USSR. But then all of a sudden, you've been thrown back in time to the 1950s, and after a hot encounter with a scientist, and that's hot as in the place was on fire, rather than you had a source rendezvous, you snap back to reality and oh, there goes gravity, along with the timeline that you're familiar with. You've now got to go around using time manipulating powers to remove an evil dictator who happened to help take the global throne, and of course, guns, guns, guns. After finishing this one, I thought of it as Bioshock's less successful younger brother. It's nowhere near as good as Bioshock, but it felt quite similar in places, and was definitely an entertaining game. I'd recommend this one to anyone who hasn't tried it yet, and just take it for what it is. Rome 2 Total War. You see, there are three kinds of people. No, not dicks, pussies and assholes. I mean, people who have played this game on launch then stopped playing it, people who played it on launch, stopped, waited till the mountain of bugs were fixed and then played it again, and finally, people who have never played Rome 2 before. Now, group number 3 haven't got a voice on this matter because they've never played it. Group 2 seems to be very small in number, and so their voices aren't really heard, which leaves us with Group 1. The guys who played it upon release hated the shit out of it because it was dramatically bugged and then left and never came back. I am firmly in Group 2. I hated this game when it first came out because for me, it was practically unplayable. But it was only after an agonizing 5, maybe 6 months later did shit finally get patched and I got to play the game. And you know what? This game is freaking sweet! My god, so many factions to choose from, a huge campaign map, so much decent DLC with new stuff in it, ridiculously accurate historical references, bloody, chaotic and satisfying battle segments, and an overhaul on how you manage your empire and armies this series have been screaming for so long. Rome 2 was excellent. Sure, Attila improved on its formula, but Rome 2 is still a fantastic game in its own rights. It's just that it had one of the most embarrassing launches in video game history. But that shit's been fixed now, so come on out to the forums, Group 1, and play the game for yourself. Velvet f***ing Assassin, but seriously, number 3 goes to Deadly Premonition. Deadly Premonition is like a cocktail called Dr. Pepper Mixer. Let me explain. Take a tumbler and then add 1 shot of amaretto to it. Then fill it halfway with cola and then top the rest off with beer. Now, the result of this both sounds and looks absolutely revolting, but trust me, look past all of this and actually try it for what it is, and I guarantee you that you'll be surprised at how not shit it is. Deadly Premonition is exactly like that. It looks fucking horrible. The controls leave a lot to be desired, and the intro stage was crap. But get past all of that, and what's waiting for you is one of the most surprisingly memorable and entertaining games that you'll ever play. This game will make you laugh, it'll make you cry, it'll certainly make you shit yourselves at times, and it'll have you spending hours just driving around, looking at stuff, visiting weird and wonderful characters, and completing so many side quests that pop up every now and then. It'll also make you look for letters in your coffee. Play the game to get what I meant by that. Deus Ex Invisible War. Another game you should all shut the fuck up about. This game was bad? Hang on, what game did you play? All I remember playing was a game that was fucking awesome in its own right and having a blast all the way through. I think the main criticism for this game is that it's not like the original Deus Ex, and well done, genius. Yes, this isn't Deus Ex 1. This is the sequel. Of course things are going to be different. The plot, for example, is set as it is because you destroy global society in the first game. It'd be weird if everything was just fine and dandy after that. There's still stealth and customization like in the first game. Granted, there's not as much, but most of it's still there. I agree with you in saying that the first game was far superior in everything except graphics, but Invisible War was charming in its own rights. It's the first game that I discovered where you could be an arsehole and break into people's apartments and trash the place. Or completely fuck up the coffee industry. Or completely fuck up every emerging faction because fuck you all. And at the end of it, I thought that, considering the premise of the game, the story did very well to achieve what it did. It's also very atmospheric and there's loads to do. Yet I feel that the problem here is that most people will look at this game, see that it's not exactly like Deus Ex 1, and then just write it off as crap without trying to appreciate it for what it is. And JC Denton has only got one thing to say to that.
What a shame.
Prince of Persia, Warrior Within. Ladies and gentlemen, for this number 1 entry, I'm going to do something different from what I normally do. Usually at this point I say, and finally at number 1 is whatever this game is, and then I do a quick segment on it. The problem, however, is that the issues surrounding why I feel that this game is awesome and yet everyone else hates it runs far deeper and will require way more of an explanation than a 2-minute bit will allow me. Therefore, I'm announcing right now, my next video will be a rant on Prince of Persia Warrior Within, and I'm going to explain, and probably rage in great detail, why this game is the nuts and why no one else besides me thinks that way. So technically the next video will be a sort of part 2 to this. All I'll say here is that this game is the nuts, it has so much going for it that everyone seems to have overlooked or outright dismissed, but we'll save that for the next video. In the meantime, Prince of Persia Warrior Within takes the number 1 spot on this list. And I'm afraid it's that time again, but if you're about to rage in great detail... No wait, please don't. Instead, like this video and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to check out Twitter and Patreon, and I'll see you all on the next video when we can finally put this matter to sleep. See ya!
Sometimes I think this life is killing me.